the last part of the budget talks about the Penfield ambulance, and I'm assuming because it's in here, you know, that it is something under your preview. Do you go line item by line item through the budget?
If you recall, Tim, what happens is that the Penfield ambulance came to us and looked for some support from us, and we formed a Penfield ambulance tax district. That does not include the entire town of Penfield. There's a piece of it that's covered by the West Webster Fire Department. What happened is last year our amount was approximately $80,000, if I recall, Mr. Beedon. And so I'm looking to Mr. Beedon because he's the numbers guy, and for this year we're showing a town contribution of $70,000 again, if I recall, Mr. Beedon. And the goal was over a 5-year period that we would work our way down or out of providing any support to the ambulance. And what's happened is that the reason we were able to do that is that as the Penfield ambulance has been able to third-party bill, we have been able to reduce the amount of money that we, from a taxpayer standpoint, support. So we're down from 2011 to 2012. And over the next 3 years or less, we want to be a little more aggressive. And so as you take a look at that budget, you've got the entire budget there. There's one line item in there that is the piece that the town actually, as part of the taxing entity for that district, that we give them a line item of dollars. So that'll show as a revenue in for 2012 for $70,000, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Mr. Beedon? Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misquoting.
So I must have misunderstood the structure then.
I mean, we would be more than happy. I mean, Bob and I would be more than happy to sit down. Our piece for 2011, $80,000. That's what comes out of our town coffers, out of all the taxpayers within that district, minus West Webster. For 2012, that amount will be $70,000. And as we head into 13, it's going to be something less. And then hopefully by 2014 or 2015, then we'll be able to dissolve that all
So this
together.
attachment then, Supervisor, is just for reference?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
I understand. And again, I see over a 10% increase, and I see some line items in there. But again, I didn't understand how the town contributes to this. Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm sure, knowing the Penfield ambulance, if there's any specific questions about about their budget overall, knowing President Charlie Collier, that he'd be more than happy to discuss that. But our piece is for 2012, $70,000, down from $80,000 in 2011.
Great, good explanation. Yeah. Excuse me. Last point, and probably the most important in my mind, everybody's talking about taxes, and a lot of times you really need a definition to go along with it. But, I mean, looking at it very critically, I think we all realize that what really drives taxes are the school taxes. I mean, that's the big number, right? And, every time I look at them, I'm amazed. Year after year, we find ways to do things that, I guess, in an excuse of our children, and I don't mean that wrong, but I just see year over year, and I don't see the fiscal restraint. But what I do see is the opportunity for shared services. I mean, you have 31 different school districts. You have all the towns and municipalities also that participate. We use a lot of the same services. Just wondering, can I get a commitment that the town and the school district and the school districts and the towns could look at some kind of shared services model? Because it just seems like, we have so many independent entities that if we found a way to pool those things, we'd find a way to manage that cost. I know it's driving people out of the state. My father was just with me today, and, he's making decisions going forward based on how much he's paying in taxes in a townhouse that matches, more than what he paid in our homestead.
Right.
And again, I had a conversation with him, and I said, really, somebody else paid for us to go to school, and now we're paying for somebody else's children to go to school. Right. You have to understand all that. But again, when I see, the Penfield High School put an AstroTurf field in, and they only play 3 home football games. Now, granted, there's soccer and lacrosse, et cetera. I know what that model is. But again, there has to be some type of overview. There has to be some kind of pooling of services. And again, what I'd like to ask the town board, looking forward, is talk to Dr. Calavati. And I know he's been very open to talk to the town board, but be aggressive, find some opportunities. I mean, again, people are making decisions whether they want to stay in their community or not by how much taxes we're paying.
Yep, I hear you. A couple of things that we've been doing. John Carlavati and myself meet at least on a quarterly basis, as well as Adele Bavard, who is his counterpart in Webster, in the Webster School District. One of the things that we've been doing the last couple of years is that we do all of their work for parking lots, roadways, what have you. This year we redid the whole administration building. We did the bus garage, and we did a piece of Bay Trail. And the reason we were able to do that is that we could provide that at a lower cost than a contractor could do that. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that we agreed that we would work on and perform, because it was in the best interest of the community. If they had $250,000 worth of work and we could do it for $200,000, I mean, that's a savings to all of us that are in either the Penfield School District or the Webster School District, depending upon where we're working. The other thing that we've been talking about is the the programming and use of facilities, and this idea of minimizing the charges. I mean, if they come to the town hall auditorium on some regular basis to grade papers and things like that, or use the lodge at either Harris Whalen or preferably down here at Dolomite, for us to charge them, and then in turn we use their facilities for them to charge us. I mean, it's really whether it's coming out of your left pocket or my right pocket type of thing. So it's those types of things. And one of the other things that John and I have recently had conversations about is that they have a buildings and grounds group, and we've got a parks and facilities group. And is there any opportunities there of setting that up in more of a shared service type of thing? So we are taking a look, doing more and being more aggressive. Certainly that is the right thing to do. Carlavati has been what I'll call a very good partner to deal with. The Webster folks, we haven't quite made those same strides, but it's not because we haven't attempted. We'll continue to work with them and offer the same types of services.
Again, good explanation. So maybe I can leave you with a challenge.
Absolutely.
As you set your 2012 objectives, put something there very specific that points to working with the school district and finding a way to share resources.
Okay.
That would be great.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tim. Good to see you.
Same here.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board on the budget? We'll get to another opportunity to address the board on any other items that you may have of interest, but this is specifically related to the budget. Okay. Seeing none, then Bob, again, I would say thank you very much. Your office will continue to be open if there is any questions between, we've got the next couple of weeks now. So if any other questions come in on the budget, what about this, what about that, how is this working, what have you. To date, I don't believe you've had any calls or inquiries, but no. Your office for the next 2 weeks is open for any of those, as well as myself. Preliminary budget is on the website, and we welcome any questions, comments, or otherwise. So with that, I'll declare the public hearing closed on the budget.